Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I just need to check out my wife's brakes and check out her tires. So I'm gonna jack it up. She's been complaining. She said she's about some brake noise. So we're gonna check it out. It's in the front. So, and also she was asking about her tires, so we're going to take a look at those and see what kind of shape they're in, what they look like. But I've already got it jacked up. I'm going to get the wheel pulled off and then we will go from there. I guess I should tell you what it is we're working on. It's a 2014 Hyundai Santa Fe. Alright guys, got the tire pulled off, and fortunately it's kind of odd, but this thing doesn't have any locking lugs. And you can see in the tire here that the wear is uneven. She's wearing more on the outside than on the inside. This rain channel is deeper on the inside. And you can also see, like, these are wear indicators, these little bumps, and this one is just about to the top there. So yeah, it looks like she's gonna be due for some new baloney skins and yeah, and a good alignment. But as far as addressing the brake noise, what we need to look at is, on most vehicles nowadays anyway, that you have this bracket, which is supporting the caliper, is stationary, but the caliper itself is what they call a floating caliper. So in other words, when the hydraulic pistons push in here, it clamps evenly like this. And something specific to this vehicle, from what I understand, is they tend to accumulate brake dust inside, in the pads. There's a groove there that tends to pick up garbage. So we're gonna pull these off and lubricate these pins and the brackets where the this is floating on, and then put it back together, where we're going to clean out the debris that's in the inside of those brake pads as well. So we got to remove, there's a bolt here and a bolt down at the bottom of that stationary bracket, and it's if I'm not mistaken, it's a 14 millimeter, if I recollect correctly. So you see that just comes out, and this is the pin that the caliper is able to float on. So we're going to do the same on the top and lubricate those up. And they do make a special high temp grease, and yeah, I don't really have any affiliation with the product, but this is what I chose to go with. It seemed like it had pretty decent reviews. It was, it's basically just high temp grease, so it'll stand up to the heat, because obviously that's a very high temp environment. All right, so we got those two bolts out. We can pull this up, and here you can see the two hydraulic cups that are the pistons that push out and apply the pressure to the back of the pad. Set that up there, and here's the brake pad itself, and it rides on these two channels and a little bit of some small stainless steel brackets. And this, they're the grooves I was talking about, and you can see all the garbage that accumulates in these, and you want to get that stuff out, all this. So to that end, and this is what I found is about the easiest way to do it, is to break the heavy chunky stuff loose, and then hit it with a stainless brush, and then finally rinse everything down with some brake parts cleaner. Now, if you're going to use a wire brush, don't get too crazy, because you don't want to be messing up this surface. I mean, if you abrade it a little bit, obviously it's a friction surface, but you just want to try to clean as much of this garbage out of here, because obviously it'll create additional friction that's not really meant to be there. And sometimes, like, you can actually see, like, stuff that is not from the brake pads will get actually caught in there, and how it manages to make it in there is beyond me, but it does. Again, this is what I chose to go with, and probably the biggest reason I chose to go with this was cost. Just what I ordered off of Amazon. Alright. So that's that outside pad. You can see we've gotten all the garbage off of it. So we're just going to let it dry out. And obviously, one of the big advantages of using brake parts cleaner is it dries out really quick, so that you can get things put back together, and you don't have to worry about contaminating this surface, because you definitely don't want to get any foreign material, especially anything that's going to be act as a lubricant, on this surface or on this surface. So that's the outside done. Now we need to do the same with this. Over here on the side, this little bar, what it does is, if you've ever heard someone pulling up to a stoplight and their brakes are squeaking real loud, that's what this thing is for. It's called a brake warning device, and it rubs on the rotor if this pad gets worn down real thin, and it'll resonate, and that's what you hear, that loud racket. So you can see it, we got the same junk, Yeah, this one's actually pretty bad. And clearly you can see it didn't exactly rocket science. Now, one of the things we're going to do with the lubricant is on these tabs here and here, on the little stainless pieces that are here. I'll try to show you a better view of those. We're going to go ahead and put a really small amount of lubricant on those, because we just want to reduce any friction that's present, or in as much as we can. And the big thing is the pins that this caliper floats on. That's the primary source that we want to lubricate. Okay, and this is that piece of stainless that I was telling you about. Clean it up a little bit so you can see. And that's the surface. There's a groove here and the same at the top, and that's what this pad is riding in to maintain its alignment. And you can see right here. So we want to flush that out. Obviously we've already done that. We want to put just a trace amount of lube on that. And then the other big thing is on these pins. Let me see. That's the carrier pin. So we want to lubricate this. Obviously it's got some grease on there, but like up here you can see it's already getting dried out. We're going to clean that stuff up, clean it off, and put on some fresh lubricant and reassemble it. And that is more than ample. It doesn't take a huge amount, and you just want to make sure that well, like this boot, which is the seal, make sure that it's not torn or anything like that. So while you're in there, inspect it for any obvious signs of damage, and don't get too jiggy, because you don't want to be the one to damage it. There you have it. And you can see now how that's working compared to this one up top. Versus this. So yep, that's probably the whole issue that she was describing. Like I said, but while you're in here, you might as well get them cleaned up. It only makes good sense. And I'm going to skip putting the lube in the channels there, just because it's so close to the rotor. And I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty certain that those pins are the entirety of the issue. That and just all the debris that was in there. So we're gonna go ahead and get these pulled. This is a great use for, paper shop towels. I'm not a big fan of them most of the time, but for something like this, they're fantastic, because even with that old grease, that stuff is not coming out. And also, that little shoulder right there is what this rubber boot slips around and retains it. So pretty straightforward. There you can see the assemblage back in position. I'll swing this back in. And these 14mm bolts are threading into the head of that pin. Alright guys, well that's it. That's the whole job. Obviously we're still got to do the other side, but I think seeing it done once is probably ample. If this kind of stuff interests you, or if you know people that would, please share. Let them know about us, so it'll help us grow the channel. And yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Bye.